In this segment of the show, John and I review and react to an article, an infographic, a podcast, anything that can make life easier and help us reflect what it means to be a website manager in today's economy. I've chosen an article, Johnny, for today, which I think has a foot both in the past and the future. This was written by Ben Davies, who is the insights editor at econsultancy.com. So Ben Davies is almost like this kind of investigator looking at, the impact on the progress, maybe digital, but also user experience. And e-consultancy is my go-to destination for trends, insights reports, but also a great educational platform. And the article written by Ben is kind of interesting because whilst it is addressing, I suppose, the kind of deliberations that online retailers may have now, I think it's valid for all sectors and all customer audiences. So the title is as follows: What exactly is AI powered commerce search? And what does it mean for retailers? And I would really encourage people to seek out the article. We've got the hyperlink in the show notes because it does a very, very good job to reflect on our experience as people of the search function, both in terms of websites, could be small independent retailers, the larger brands like Amazon and Walmart, but also the search engines. And I think you and I can reflect on the last 30 years to agree that by and large, search is not always particularly effective, is not always successful. And what we've had to do, all of us, is almost learn the kind of idiosyncrasies and some of the quirks of the search function to try and make it work for us. And some of us could actually be very, very proud of our search skills, and we can second guess actually how bad it is to essentially get a better results. But everything's changed now because of the advance of AI, but particularly the large language models, where you move into a situation where you no longer have to second guess what 3, 4 to 5 words you have to put in. You can have a full on conversation with a chatbot, sometimes called agent, and make your search feel more like you're being assisted by a personal assistant of sort. And that is creating a new way of thinking around Google, but other platforms. And we may come across a term that then is indicating called conversational commerce or conversational search. And this is essentially, a reflection at this moment in time about the impact on all of us and all our websites. We will see the rollout of those kind of advanced way of searching on larger brand websites because they could afford to make all the mistakes and improve upon it. But one thing that I've noticed over the years, Johnny, I don't know if you agree, is that the behavior that people essentially first get a go at on platform like Amazon, Google, and more, then becomes a norm and is then expected on other platforms such as your website. So listen, Ben does an amazing job to reflect, look back and look forward. And but I sense that in his article, is suggesting that by and large we're still the effort is a bit timid, a bit limited. We should be a lot more ambitious about what those AI powered solutions can provide for us. But ultimately, what you're saying is that we're going to be in a position to assist the shopper and in B2B, the decision maker in more advanced and sophisticated way. And that would feel more like having conversation with an individual than ever before. And is that not actually the ultimate aim of a website, to be a mirror of what is going to feel like in the near future to deal with the very people behind the business? So for that reason, I chose the article. People can read it for themselves. And couple of things to mention before I get your reaction is this idea of, let's not forget that one of the things that AI can offer beyond the current search function is what's called a multi-modal. So using voice, using images as we can by drag and drop, but something that has been tested by Google called Shop with Google AI, where literally you can generate some images of what you're looking for, and then Google's going to go away and search it for you and create the matches. So I think it's going to get very, very interesting. But we, as website managers, need to keep an eye on the near future and start to plan for those adjustments.
Yeah, I think for me the key message here is we need to step out of our comfort zones and start trying these things, because because as small businesses, you've got the ability to be able to adapt very quickly, to be able to test and try. And my advice would be to start embracing a lot of the things that are out there, and especially what we're talking about today, which is that AI chatbot, in terms of commerce, in terms of giving that experience. I think you said it really well, Pascal, giving that experience in terms of, if you walked into a business premises, if you walked into a retail premises and you had that first initial conversation, that's what we're trying to create as a website. That's how you should be thinking that your website is trying to achieve. So how would you know, if you were talking in a, in that first moment, one to one, how would you talk? And that's going back to real basics of using the word you and your within the content, and really making it very clear that you're talking to the individual, and thinking about just, not trying to think mass market and you're talking to everyone in the world, but you're talking to this just one individual. So how you can power that is making sure that you structure your data correctly, that you're collecting data, so that when someone's on your website, you understand who they are, have they been to you before, what data touch points do you already have, and can you use that information to understand their behavior, any information that you have, to then make sure that that conversation is a continuation of the relationship that you already have. It might be right at the start, but it might be someone that is already a customer. So it's really trying to join a lot of those dots. And there's a lot of tools out there that are doing this. And I'm seeing companies that are testing this. Some are doing really well. Some aren't doing really. So some are not doing very well. Xero has just introduced Jax, which is an AI assistant within their accounting tool, and oh my god, it is bloody awful. they've rolled it out as a beta, it's and they agree that they've got it wrong, and they're quickly trying to fix things. But there's an example of a large company testing it, and I think that it's the SMEs that need to be doing the testing and winning quickly, so that you can start converting customers into shoppers into customers, should I say.
I think for me, this article is also kind of a bit of a warning about two things. Pay attention to customer behavior that they may acquire on larger platform than yourselves, but also this idea of all of us, as decision makers in our businesses, particularly with digital, we've learned to essentially put up with limitation. So we've almost stopped ourselves being ambitious because it wasn't possible, or it wasn't particularly good, or it was embarrassing, and so on and so forth. And I think that the biggest challenge for me with AI and large language models is a mindset shift of actually reconnecting with your imaginations and your ambition, thinking, well, now actually it may be possible. And therefore, can we dust off, maybe the project from 2 years ago and see what we can do to create that amazing website experience?
Absolutely. This is about embracing it, about thinking about it, considering it, and realizing that there is a future that we need to embrace to really engage that, especially to engage that newer audience as well.